As an establishment defined by history, tradition, prestige, and timelessness, it is only fitting that Alpha Delta Pi colonized at the University of Virginia. The university opened its doors to women in 1970, and soon after, in 1976, it welcomed the sisters of the local organization Alpha Pi onto grounds. Alpha Pi began with two young women who had gone to high school together and had heard of Alpha Delta Pi sorority from their mothers. Susie Bailey's mother had worked alongside Dorothy Hicks, a Pi member from Montevallo College, and sister to Evelyn Hicks, who had served as National Vice President of Alpha Delta Pi. Becky Batchelder, who would later become president of Alpha Pi, heard about ADPi from her mother, a member of the Alpha Pi chapter at George Washington University. Because of this connection, the local organization was dubbed Alpha Pi in hopes of affiliating with the national sorority after their 1 year as a local chapter that was required by the university. The Zeta Z chapter of Alpha Delta Pi was installed on April 16, 1977, with 57 charter members by the late Maxine Blake, who was grand president at the time. As the young women were starting out, they had the help of Janie Alexander, who was a traveling collegiate secretary. They were a group of enthusiastic, unstoppable, and dedicated young women. As the years went by, many of the original women graduated, causing the chapter's numbers to dwindle. In the fall of 1987, Zeta Z chapter recolonized and gained a new class of over 30 members through an informal recruitment process with the help of traveling secretaries, the university's inner sorority council, and alumni such as Cynthia Morris, a graduate student. In the spring of 1988, the Zeta Z chapter participated in formal recruitment with help from Beta Phi at the University of Maryland, Epsilon Chi at Longwood University, Beta Upsilon at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and Delta Omicron at East Carolina University. When the girls first started out, they had no house to meet in, so they held their meetings at Lambeth Field Apartments. Eventually, they were able to establish a house corporation which helped them purchase a house on Grady Avenue for a number of years. Then, in 1983, the Alpha Tau Omega fraternity at the university was asked to raise money in order to bring the house up to code. It is rumored that the alumni donated the money needed for renovations, but rather than use the money for the intended purpose, the brothers hosted a party with James Brown as a special guest. In 1984, the chapter was forced to close and leave their residence at 502 Rugby Road. The house was then sold to Alpha Delta Pi for $200,000. After undergoing extensive renovations, the house was reopened with a house dedication ceremony with Jane Matteo in attendance. Over the 30 years that Zeta Z has been at the university, excellence has been one of our strongest traditions. Throughout the years, our sisters have been honored for their exceptional contributions to the university. For example, the Sisters of ADPi led the Charlottesville community in efforts to conserve water during the drought of 2002, so much so that they were recognized by the Charlottesville Daily Progress. In 2008, Zeta Z and sisters from Chi Omega led members of the Inner Sorority Council in adopting a third-party vendor system for social events in accordance with the NPC's guidelines. Alpha Delta Pi has also been an active participant in the philanthropy efforts of other Greek organizations, in addition to aiding the Charlottesville community at large. Throughout the years, the Sisters of Zeta Z have not only raised thousands of dollars for the local Ronald McDonald House and the Alpha Delta Pi Foundation, but have also supported March of Dimes, American Cancer Society, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, Camp Kesem, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and numerous other organizations. In addition to being involved with philanthropic activities, our sisters have been leaders on and off campus. For example, in 2002, Annie Hilton changed university policy toward sexual assault by protesting the university's handling of her own case. Zeta Z sisters historically have been involved with student council, athletics, the performing arts, the University Guide Service, and academic honor societies, as well as serving on the Inner Sorority Council. In 2008, Laura Ann Kuykendall served as Inner Sorority Council President. Currently, a Zeta Z alumna, Laura Sill, is serving Alpha Delta Pi as a leadership consultant for the 2009-2010 term. She is the first sister from Zeta Z to receive this honor. Alpha Delta Pi is not just a part of our lives at the university, it is a lifelong sisterhood. Traditions in existence during the founding of our chapter are still around today. Like our founding sisters, we continue to hold Mistletoe Madness and Bonfire, paint Beta Bridge to welcome our Alpha members, attend the Foxfield races in the spring, and support our Wahoos. Since the recolonization in 1987, Zeta Z's recruitment success has grown, building upon the same ideals our Alpha Pi sisters had established. This past spring, Zeta Z sisters aided members of Grand Council and other chapters from across the country in colonizing at Washington and Lee University. Coming off our own very successful recruitment in the spring of 2009, Zeta Z welcomed 7 adorable new Alphas in September, bringing the chapter to a total of 107 sisters. Our bonds of sisterhood truly last a lifetime. The original members of Alpha Pi, still close after 30 years, returned to the University of Virginia in 2008 to reunite and catch a glimpse of the legacy they left behind. The strength of the bonds created by membership in Zeta Z chapter continues to be an important part of the ADPi experience. Sisters continue to be bridesmaids in each other's weddings, godmothers to each other's children, and lifelong irreplaceable friends. Of all the traditions experienced at the University of Virginia, the one that we hold most dear is that we live for each other every day and forever.